So here's a question to you guys. If you had a wish list of everything you wanted to see with the next iPhone, what would it be? Because I'm assuming that a lot of you would say, hey, 120Hz, or hey, in-display Touch ID, or hey, give me more cameras on the back. But Apple's not doing that, because we have information today regarding faster 5G and LiDAR, standard across the range of the next iPhones. And I don't think anyone cares about this. But anywho, because I have pretty much nothing else to cover as usual, let's delve into this, so make sure to like and subscribe, click that notification for the latest Apple news and rumors, and with that being said, let's just tuck in. Now, this information comes from a variety of sources who aren't known for being quite credible, but because these leaks aren't exactly outlandish, I think there is some legitimacy to this report. Anyways, delving right in, let's talk about 5G, unfortunately, because 5G hasn't got real enough, because it's about to get even more realer. So millimeter 5G, or real 5G I guess, is of course the 5G that's insanely fast, but doesn't travel very far. So of course if you want these insane speeds, you've got to be like this close to a tower. If a bird or a piece of paper gets in the way, you lose all the insane 5G. So yes, pretty useless stuff indeed. But anyways, this version of 5G is slowly making its way around the world. It's currently in the UK apparently, even though I haven't experienced it yet. But anyways, it's in other countries like Germany, Canada, China, Japan, and some others. And so Apple is starting to think that maybe the rest of the world should experience this insane 5G on the next iPhone. Because yes, if you didn't know, millimeter wave 5G is only available on US versions of the iPhone 12 series, whereas of course here in the UK and pretty much everywhere else, we get the slightly faster than 4G version of 5G, which really isn't that good. So of course Apple's plan to bring that technology to other countries with future models. Now of course, I'm not too sure if this is something that people are asking for, because first of all, we get this super ugly cutout on the side for millimeter 5G, which looks disgusting, and I'm very happy my iPhone 12 doesn't have it, so I'm kind of fine with it staying that way. But also, as I said, millimeter 5G doesn't have a huge reach. You have to stand very, very close to the tower. And so I feel like even if the technology is slowly spreading across other countries, there won't be many people taking advantage of this tech. And so there really isn't a need for Apple to include this tech in the next iPhone, in my opinion. Though I do sort of understand why Apple wants to include faster 5G, because of course 5G is a huge buzzword. It's got people buying iPhone 12s, and of course this very much is a super cycle for them. And so Apple's thinking is that, hey, if we can boast that the iPhone 13s have faster 5G, then maybe that can get more people on board to upgrading. Now, of course, if it doesn't affect the consumers in any way in terms of price, and of course the price just stays the same, then I guess I'll take it. But here's the interesting thing. The US versions of the SIM-free iPhone 12 and 12 mini is actually $30 more than if you get them through carriers. So I'm kind of concerned something like that happens here as well, because of course I buy my phones outright. I don't want to be attached to a contract, and so I'm not going to be very happy if Apple charges us more for paying outright for these phones. So yes, hopefully that is not the case. Guys, I nearly forgot something. We need to talk about the evidence of this technology being included in the iPhone 13, because of course I was busy ranting about 5G, and I nearly forgot the most crucial part. Anyways, coming back to the story, a Taiwanese company called Kiki, at least that's how I think you pronounce it. Apparently, they're in the process of receiving a large order for millimeter wave antennas from Apple for supposedly the iPhone 13 lineup. And to kinda make it bait that this is happening, the chairman has stated that 5G related component shipments would increase significantly this year. And so again, this report and the evidence seems pretty legit to me. By the way, Apple's current millimeter wave antennas for the US versions of the iPhone 12 series is manufactured by a Japanese company called Murata Manufacturing, which apparently will share orders with Kiki for the iPhone 13. Now, interestingly, Kiki also has another thing up their sleeves because apparently they design antennas for laptops, and this suggests to me that maybe, just maybe, with the introduction of Apple Silicon, we could possibly see 5G versions of MacBooks in the near future. Of course, right now, amongst this pandemic climate, a lot of us aren't traveling anymore, but of course, when that clears up, then I can see the use for 5G in laptops, especially for business people who travel around with their laptops. I think this would be a great feature to have. And so yes, with the addition of the Apple Silicon chips, I can see Apple possibly including this in future MacBook models. As to exactly when, I think around 3 to 4 years, because I think Apple's going to wait till they're done with their own in-house modems before they make this transition. And as far as we know, development for these in-house modems have just begun, so it will take some time. Anyways, coming back to the iPhone 13, LiDAR. Let's talk about that because LiDAR again has been mentioned as being a standard feature in the iPhone 13 next year. Now, we have had reports about this in the past. For example, I've made a video about this. It's going to be in the iCard above if you want to check it out. But essentially, LiDAR apparently will become a standard feature across the iPhone 13 series, possibly for Apple Glass, and possibly, of course, to improve portrait mode capabilities. Anyways, delving into this report, apparently Sony has signed a 3-year deal with Apple for next-gen direct time-of-flight LiDAR scanners for, of course, the iPhone 13 and beyond. So clearly, the fact that Apple's signing some sort of long-term agreement seems like they're really going big with LiDAR. And of course, we already know that LiDAR will play a huge factor in, of course, the Apple Glass and its AR capabilities. So it seems Apple's just going to throw LiDAR on everything possible in their future lineups. Now, I did mention in my earlier video that I thought this wasn't really that plausible because Apple clearly wants people to buy the Pros, and LiDAR and of course the extra camera you get on the Pro makes it seem like the better camera system overall, even though we know that's not the case. But either way, to the consumer, that might seem the case, and so they'll be upsold to the Pro and the Pro Max. I mean, here's a stat claiming quad camera smartphones have become the most popular amongst consumers, and so it makes sense for Apple to give more cameras on their most expensive models to, of course, get people to upgrade and spend more on those Pro versions of their iPhones. But I guess at the end of the day, a LiDAR scanner is pretty small compared to an actual camera sensor, and so I guess it won't really distort that. And of course, you do get some benefits for the consumer in the form of better portrait mode, and of course, that's something that might benefit some consumers. But I think the biggest reason for Apple to include LiDAR across the range is, simply put, more data for the Apple Glass, because we know one of the reasons Apple introduced LiDAR on their products is because they're collecting as much data as they can for the Apple Glass, because of course it relies on AR. And so for Apple to, of course, increase the amount of LiDAR scanners on their products, that makes sense because of course that will benefit the research team of the Apple Glass. Ultimately though, it's not something that's truly game-changing. I'm not sure a lot of people are going to go rushing out buying iPhone 13s for LiDAR scanners, but it's nice that Apple's including this across the range, and as I said, we should get better portrait mode with, of course, this LiDAR technology. Also, something that was mentioned in the early days of the iPhone 12 leak cycle was that the LiDAR scanner would help with portrait video and also possibly better autofocus. Now, of course, we do know that allegedly the iPhone 12 Pro and Pro Max do have slightly better autofocus than the iPhone 12s, but in my use case, that was not the case at all. I think the iPhone 12s are really great in terms of focusing, and there really doesn't seem to be a difference between the Pros and the regular phones. However, with Apple's push on HDR recording this year, I can see portrait video working hand in hand with that technology and just improving the video experience with these iPhones and pushing Apple ahead of the competition. Now, yes, I know that Samsung allegedly has portrait video, but because it's done through software, it's not that great. And of course, LiDAR will improve upon that because it can actually sense the distance of the object or person from the camera. And so it will do a much better job in terms of blurring the background. And so I am looking forward to seeing that on the iPhone 13. So yes, if for some reason you were wondering, hey, can I have a LiDAR scanner or can I have faster 5G on the iPhone 13? then that's exactly what's happening, and so you should be a very happy man. But personally, of course, I'm still looking forward to 120Hz and Touch ID most importantly, and so hopefully we do get some more rumors regarding that, and that gets somewhat confirmed in the next few months. Anyways, tell me in the comments below, what feature would you want to see in the iPhone 13? I think the iPhones are pretty much nearing in terms of perfection for me. I think I don't really need any other feature except Touch ID on my iPhone. And so, yeah, I don't really see what Apple can do with the iPhone in the future. But anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and click that bell notification for the latest Apple news and rumors. Click the icon above for the latest video I've made on something Apple related. And on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya, peeps.